What's going on, family? Welcome back to the From the Bottom FS Reaction channel. Today we have Malcolm X making his second appearance here, man. I love the first video we watched of him during the interview, and I had to bring him back on. So today we're going to touch on white liberals and conservatives. I think here he breaks down the differences and similarities. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Come on.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
And we kind of see that as well. I mean, I've seen a few instances where I've seen, liberals trying to relate to black people on a cultural level, you know what I'm saying, to try to get that black vote. I think the last time I saw it was with Hillary Clinton when she was on the Breakfast Club.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
In that moment, they'll say whatever it takes to get that vote. They'll say whatever it takes to make you feel like they're your friend. But in reality, they're not. They're not here to help you. They're here to help themselves. And that's why it's so important to do the research first before we vote for these people. Remove the colors, man, the blue and the red, and remove that, get rid of that, and vote. Just do your research and vote for who you truly believe will make a difference within your community and within your state. But everything he's saying here is all facts so far. Let's keep it going.
Football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
Token progress.
In the New York Tribune, in an editorial dated February the 5th, 1960, they pointed out that out of 11 million qualified Negro voters, only 2,700,000 actually take time to vote. This means that, roughly speaking, only 3 million out of the 11 million Negroes who are qualified to vote take an active part, and the remaining 8 million remain voluntarily inactive. And yet it is this small minority, the 3 million Negro voters, who help determine who will be the next president. If who will be the next president can be influenced by 3 million Negro voters, it is easy to see why the presidential candidates of both political parties put on such a false show with the Civil Rights Bill and promises of integration. They must impress the 3 million voting Negroes who are the actual integration seekers.
And like within that, it's kind of like that kind of shows you how far their lifestyle is separated from, in these days, black people, right? They have to stop and come up with plans and ideas. How can we relate to them? How can we, pretend like we're their friend? How can we make the image of us seem more appealing to them? You know what I mean? That's how far separated they are from the common man or the common woman back in those days, or even today. Because if you are, if you really are for the people, you should come from the people. You should come from, a diverse background. You don't necessarily have to come from struggle, but be humble enough to be able to communicate with a person who might not make as much money as you, who might not have a better job than what you have, who and understand that as humans, you know what I mean, we're all, we're all deserving of respect, from the janitor, from the lady helping the kids cross the street in the morning with the kids. We all are deserving of respect. And your job title does not, incorporate who you are. You know what I mean? And I think politicians kind of lose sight of that as they go up that corporate ladder or as they go up that government ladder. But the best type of people, the best president we can ever vote into office is a person that comes from us, man. And I'll keep saying that to the end of this. But let's get back to it. Let's go.
3 million voting Negroes who are the actual integration seekers. And if so much fuss is made over these 3 million integration seekers, what would the presidential candidates have to do to appease the 8 million non-voting Negroes if they ever decided to become politically active?
In another token to this, you guys, this also shows you how meaningful our vote is. You know what I mean? Because with me growing up, I'm not sure if you guys as well, but for me growing up, voting really didn't matter. Voting never changed my life. Voting never changed my school I went to. Voting never changed the policies around me. So I didn't really care about it. So as I grew older, though, and once you do a little bit of research, the person you put in office in your city for your state makes all the difference. But the issue then becomes, once they're in that seat, they can now be incentivized to write certain policies from these private organizations that don't really care about us, that don't really care that our water is clean, that don't really care that our trash is taken to the correct location and disposed of properly, that don't really care about federal guidelines and make sure our food that we're eating is healthy for us. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother aspect in itself, but we see it changing, right? In these days, the black vote was important. You know what I mean? They fought for it. Both sides of the aisle fought for it. And now, even in this year, it's becoming more diverse. Now you have to appeal to all cultures, all diversity, not just black people, but Hispanics. You know what I mean? You have to appeal to all cultures, which is what you should do in the first place. But being from the people, like I said earlier, will help you bridge that gap within communication and help you gain that trust. But a lot of these folks don't do it, man. A lot of these folks ain't got it, and they shouldn't be in these spots to begin with. Let's go.
Non-voting Negroes, if they ever decided to become politically active, they hold the balance of power. Who are the 8 million non-voting Negroes? What do they want? And why don't they vote? The 3 million Negro voters are the so-called middle-class Negroes, or high-class Negroes, or uppity Negroes, who are referred to by the late Howard University sociology professor E. Franklin Frazier as the black bourgeoisie, who have been educated to think as patriotic individualists with no racial pride whatsoever, who believe in and look forward to the future integrated, intermarried society that is constantly being promised to them by the Negro politician. And therefore, this integration-minded 3 million minority remain an active part of the white-controlled political parties. But it must never be overlooked that these 3 million Negro integration seekers are only a small minority of the 11 million qualified Negro voters. The 8 million non-voting Negroes are the majority, the downtrodden black masses. They have refused to vote. They've refused to take a part in politics because they reject the Uncle Tom approach of the clergy politician leadership that has been handpicked for the so-called Negroes by the white man himself. This clergy politician leadership does not speak for the Negro majority. They don't speak for the black masses. They speak for the black bourgeoisie, the brainwashed, white-minded, middle-class minority, who, because they are ashamed of their race, because they are ashamed of being black and don't want to be identified with black, they are seeking to lose this black identity by mixing and mingling and intermarrying and integrating with the white society.
And I think it's an interesting point to point out that he's not talking about, acting white. He's talking about people or individuals that are like, who don't care about their race anymore, who are not trying to, who pretend to be from another culture because they're embarrassed of who they are and what they represent. And are afraid to, step into that role and being a leader in your own community. Because as you can see, because like in our day and age, what's considered white is like talking white, speaking white, having great grades, or for the educational standpoint. That's in our day and age. That's what's considered, being white for a black person. But these men are already educated. These men are already speaking fluently. These men are not referring to that. They're referring to a different type of bourgeoisie, individual. So let's run it back a little bit and keep it going.
And don't want to be identified with black. They're seeking to lose this black identity by mixing and mingling and intermarrying and integrating with the white society. The race problem cannot be solved by listening to the white-minded, brainwashed minority. The white man must try to learn what the black majority wants. The president would be wise to try and learn what the black masses want. And the only way to find this out is by listening to the man who speaks for the black masses. And I can declare to you tonight and to the entire world that the man here in America who speaks for the majority, the downtrodden, dissatisfied black masses, is this same man who so many thousands of our people are flocking toward to see and hear. This same Mr. Muhammad who is labeled by you as a black supremacist and as a racist and as an extremist. If the 3 million middle-class Negroes are casting their ballots for integration and intermarriage, what do the non-voting black masses who are in the majority want? Find out what the black masses want, and then perhaps America's grave race problem can be solved.
So listen, my biggest takeaway here, man, Malcolm X was on point. Malcolm X was so on point. Everything he just said, still you can apply to this very day. And he spoke on several different things, but within that, he broke down the differences between liberals, conservatives from his perspective. And he's kind of telling folks, listen, there is such thing as a lesser evil out of these politicians, but you got to keep an eye out for these liberals, man. You got to keep an eye out for these liberals. Conservatives going to tell you like it is. They don't like it, they don't like it. But these liberals, man, they're going to fake to be your friend. They're going to fake to be cool with you. They're going to fake to like you. They're going to hot sauce in my bag. They're going to dance with you. Ooh, they're going to do all that. But at the end of the day, after you cast your vote, they do not care about you, man. You can see it in the policies that they're writing to this day. They do not care about you, man. So, all facts, man. We got Malcolm X back on the channel. How do you guys feel about it? What are you guys' comments on it? Whether you agree or disagree, all comments are accepted. Let's keep it going. And as usual, you guys be easy out there. Until next time, peace.